I moved to pull my arm free.
Don't.
Something about his tone stopped me.
We're about to have company. Fight me all you want later. I'll probably enjoy it. But do not fight me in front of him.
I looked at the door. Who was coming? His father? The king? Casteel shifted so that he stood partially in front of me as a group of men filled the doorway. The sandy-haired man who walked in the center, tall and broad of shoulder, snagged my attention. I inherently knew that this was who Casteel had spoken of. The man, his wealth of blonde hair brushing a square, hard jaw, appeared much older than Casteel. If he was mortal, which I doubted, I would have pegged him for someone on the verge of approaching midlife. I didn't think this man was Casteel's father. He looked nothing like him, but I suppose that didn't mean much. The man was handsome in a rugged way that reminded me of a lion. He strode toward us. The heavy cloak he wore dusted with melting snow. As he drew closer, I somehow managed not to gasp. It wasn't the pale blue eyes I associated with the Wolven. It was the deep groove in the center of his forehead, as if someone had attempted to slice open his head. I, of all people, knew better than to be surprised by scars. It was just a shock to see someone, a possible Wolven, scarred. His brows lifted as he saw the blood on the wall. The others who'd traveled with them moved among those at the table. All except one. He was shorter than Casteel and more compact. His hair was a reddish-brown mop of waves, and his eyes were a brilliant gold, like Casteel's. This one remained close to the man, and his gaze seemed to track every breath I took.
What in the god's teeth is happening here?
His voice. It sounded so familiar to me.
What do I even want to know?
I've just been doing a little redecorating.
The Wolven chuckled as the two males clasped hands. My heart squeezed. His laugh. It was raspy and rough, like Victor's. That was why his voice and laugh sounded familiar to me.
I didn't expect you to be here so soon, Alistair.
We rode hard to get ahead of the storm headed this way.
Alistair's gaze slid past the prince to me. Curiosity marked his features.
So, this is her.
It is.
Every muscle in my body tensed as Alistair's gaze lowered. His head tilted, and it took me a moment to realize that he was staring at my neck. The damn bite! My braid had slipped over my shoulder, revealing my throat. The skin around Alistair's mouth tightened as his gaze shifted back to Casteel.
I feel like things have occurred since we last spoke.
Had Alistair been with Casteel's father when he left New Haven to speak with him? If so, where was the king?
Many things have changed, including my relationship with Penelope.
Penelope? Named after the goddess of wisdom, loyalty, and duty?
I nodded. A faint smile appeared.
A fitting name for the Maiden.
You wouldn't think that if you knew her.
I clamped my lips shut against a retort.
Then I cannot wait to do so.
You will have to wait a little longer.
Casteel glanced back. His eyes briefly met mine. But it was long enough for me to know that he wished for me not to challenge what he said next. Vaguely, I became aware of Kieran standing at my back.
Penelope was just about to retire.
Kieran stepped closer, placing his hand on my lower back to urge me forward. I walked forward, well aware of several gazes following me. I'd made it halfway to the door when I heard Alistair ask,
Is it wise to allow the Maiden to roam freely?
I stopped.
Keep walking,
Kieran said under his breath.
It wouldn't be wise to refuse her to do so.
The handle of the knife I'd stolen dug into my palm. It took everything in me not to throw the blade at Casteel.